I made this thing a few years ago, and though it's a bit average looking, it does allow me to carry a 3/4 inch full sheet of plywood fairly comfortably on my own. All it is a handle and a hook, and I threw this thing together and I didn't do a very good job of it, but I've been using it ever since. And the main issue is I used thin plywood. You can probably see how warped that is there, and it's quite hard to feed the board in, but once the board's in it works well enough. I am going to make it an inch or so longer. It's a little bit of a reach down for me. If you make one, you'll have to adjust it for your own reach, and the only other thing is I'm going to round the handle over because that's quite uncomfortable under there. So I'll show you how it works. I just lift the board forward, drop it around about the middle, lift the board up, and then this is where this one doesn't work very well because I struggled to feed it in there, but there we go, that wasn't too bad. And then you can lift it fairly comfortably. It's really not too hard to carry at all. You can manoeuvre it pretty good. The thing with a piece of plywood, it is heavy, but it's not that heavy. It's just it's cumbersome and it's not easy to lift and manoeuvre. But this addresses that. It works well. So. The first thing we need to do is find out what length to make it, and that depends on your own reach. So if you get a piece of plywood and you need to get it into your armpit, not like digging right into the top, but fairly comfortably into your armpit, and hang your arm down and put your hand in a bit of a grip and try and find that. And I would go an inch or two higher than what you think it is, just for a bit more comfort, and we can adjust it a little bit later. So I'm going to go about there. So then we can measure that and we can get started. So that is about 670 millimeters. This is a chance to use your scraps as well. So the main part of the handle would be about 4 inches wide, or about 100 mil, and it needs to be a few inches longer than the reach that we've just worked out, and then we can adjust the handle up and down, screw it where we need to. And then this is the bottom piece which the board will be sitting on. And this one is actually it's a piece of plywood, but it's 20 mil, so it's a little bit bigger than 3/4 inch, which is ideal. But if you do use a 3/4 inch piece, it will work. It'll just be a bit more snug when it goes in. I've already found the centres of these, so I'm going to screw that onto the bottom of there. It needs to be roughly around the centre. There's nothing needs to be that accurate with this. So now we need to put a piece on the front there, and that's to complete the hook. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle that front edge so when the board goes in, it'll go in a lot easier. We just need to make a handle now, and that's just 2 bits of plywood that we fix together, and then we'll screw that to the lifter. But first I'm going to round off this edge here because this is where we hold it, so I'm going to round off both corners there. The handle needs to go on the opposite side of the hook. So we put the handle on the back, and then with our measurement that we took in the very first place, if we go from the bottom of the hook here to the bottom of the handle and put that in the position where we want it, I'm going to go back there, and we can adjust this. If it's not quite right, then we can move it up or down. So we're just going to screw this in place.